day everyone. I'm Lady Anvi Parairay and this is my topic, and it's about economic influence on consumer behavior. The economic factors are the features that speak about the level of sales in the market and the financial position of the consumer, such as how much an individual spends on the purchase of goods and services that add on the overall sales of the company. So ito po ay ang mga katingian na nagpapahayag tungkol sa antas ng mga benta sa merkado at ang pinansyal na kalagayan ng mamimili. Tulad ng magkano ang ginastos sa isang individual sa pagbili ng mga kalakal at serbisyo. Ang mga salik o factors na ito ay mahalaga sapagkat direktang nakakaapekto ang mga ito sa pag-ugali ng mga mamimili. Kapag mas mabuti ang kalagayan ng ekonomiya, mas marami ang gumagastos ng mga tao dahil sa mataas na kumpiyansa sa kanilang pinansyal na seguridad. Here are some examples of economic factors that influence consumer behavior. Income, price, and inflation. Income is because the level of income a consumer has directly impacts their purchase power. Kapag mataas ang kita, mas malaki ang posibilidad na maglaan ng mas malaking bahagi ng kanyang kita sa mga pagbili. Ito ay dahil mas marami silang magagamit na pera para sa kanilang mga pangangailangan at kagustuhan. Sa price naman, the price of a product or service plays a significant role in consumer behavior. Consumers are more likely to purchase products that are affordable and offer good value for money. Price discounts and promotions can also influence consumer decision making. Inflation, the rate inflation affects the purchasing power of consumers. When price rise, consumers may adjust their spending habits and price essential goods and services over discretionary purchases. There are just few examples of economic factors that can influence consumer behavior. It's important to note that consumer behavior is complex and influenced by a variety of factors, including social, cultural, and psychological factors as well. There are the factors that greatly influence the consumer buying process. First is personal income. The income of the person influences buying patterns. It is the income of a consumer that dictates his purchasing power. Simply, the more personal income as a person has, the more he can spend on a lot of items. The contrary is true of people with less income. Personal income has a significant impact on purchasing behavior in technology industry. Here are some ways in which it affects. Access to the technology. Higher personal income may provide the ability to access technology that those with lower income cannot. For example, ang mga taong may malalaking kita ay maaaring makabili ng mga pinakabagong smartphones, laptop, o iba pang mga gadget with advanced features. Purchase of high-end products. People with personal income are more likely to invest in high-end technology products. This may be expensive televisions, audio equipment, gaming consoles, or other devices. Third, technology upgrades. People with large incomes ay mas may kakayahang mag-upgrade ng kanilang mga teknolohiya ng madalas. This could be replacing old models of gadgets with newer and improved versions. Personal income may be a factor that determines how often a person changes in their technologies. Second, family income. The family income refers to the combined sum of the income of all the family members. The total family income also influences the buying behavior of its members. The residual income after purchasing all the basic necessities of the everyday life may be utilized to buy shopping goods, luxury items, durable goods, and other items. Moreover, the low-income families have lesser demands while contented and affluent families with high income have more demands. A family low income can impose limitation on the necessities they can afford. Here are some examples of needs that family with low income may not be able to afford. Public service. Family with low income may not be able to afford private services, such as large hospitals, schools, or fitness centers. They rely on public service like public schools, public clinics, and general services. Education. Family with low income may struggle to continue education due to a lack of funds for tuitions, books, and other necessary learning materials. Health. Families with low income may not be able to afford expensive medication or may not be able to consult with the doctors or other health professionals. This can impose limitation on their health care and access to health services. Third, income expectations. An individual anticipation about his increased income level in the future influences buying behavior. Today, such as if a person expects his income to rise in the future, then he will use more money on the procurement of the lavish goods, durables, and shopping goods. On the contrary, if he expects his income to descend in the future, his expenditure on such items also reduces. There are many examples of expensive commodities that a person expecting on increasing in their income might buy. So, halimbawa, kung inasahan ng isang tao na tataas ang kanyang kita sa hinaharap, gagastos siya ng mas maraming pera sa pagbili ng mga mararangyang kalakal, matibay na produkto at mga shopping goods. Sa kabilang banda, kung inaasahan niya na mababa ang kanyang kita sa hinaharap, babawasan din niya ang paggasto sa mga ganitong uri ng bagay. Fourth is consumer credit. The credit facility obtainable to the consumer also influences buying behavior. If the credit terms are liberal, then the consumer are likely to spend more on the extravagant items, durable goods, and shopping goods. This credit is offered by the seller either directly or indirectly through the banks and other financial institutions. This is the case of car loans or housing as examples. So halimbawa, kung gusto mong bumili ng isang bagong telepono, ngunit hindi sapat ang iyong kasalukuyang pera, maaari kang gumamit ng kredito para kumuha nito agad. Pagkatapos, babayaran mo ang halaga ng telepono sa itinakdang panahon, na maaaring may kasamang interes. Ang ganitong sistema ay nagbibigay ng flexibility sa mga mamimili, lalo na sa mga pagkuha ng mga mahalagang bagay o serbisyong kailangan nila o ninanais nila kahit na limitado ang kanilang agad na pondo. Fifth is liquid asset and saving of the consumer. The liquid assets with the consumer have influence in his buying behavior. The liquid assets are the assets that are easily redeemable into the cash. If the consumer has more liquid assets, then he is predictable to use more on the extravagant items and the shopping goods. On the other hand, if the liquid assets are restricted, then the spending on extravagant items also reduces. Liquid assets are assets that can be easily converted into cash without significant loss in their value. Here are different types of liquid assets that a person may have: cash, saving accounts, money market accounts. Cash ang pinakadirektang anyo ng likidong ari-arian. Kasama rito ang perang hawak sa kamay at ang perang nasa checking accounts. Saving accounts naman, bank accounts that provide a small interest rate on stored money. It easily accessible and convertible to cash. Money market accounts naman, similar to saving accounts but typically offer higher interest rates. It has easily access to money but may have limitation on the consumer number of transactions per month. The business market. The business market consists of all the organizations that obtain goods and services used in the products of other products or services that are sold, rented, or supplied to others. Ito po ay tumutukoy sa isang sektor kung saan ang mga kumpanya at iba't ibang organisasyon ay bumibili at gumagamit ng mga produkto or serbisyo. Hindi para sa personal na konsumo, kundi para makagawa ng iba pang mga produkto o serbisyo ng kanilang inaalok. Halimbawa, ang isang pabrika ng damit ay bumibili ng tela, sinulid at iba pang materyales na kailangan sa paggawa ng damit. Ang mga damit na ito ay maaaring direktang ibenta sa mga mamimili o kaya sa iba pang mga negosyo na magrerenta o magbebenta nito sa iba. Ganito gumagana ang merkado ng negosyo, kung saan ang transaksyon at palitan ng mga kalakal at serbisyo ay nagaganap sa pagitan ng mga organisasyon at hindi direktang sa mga individual na mamimili. These are the types of business market. First, industrial markets. The industrial market consists mainly of companies making business in durable goods such as machinery, materials, chemicals, vehicles, and office furnitures and supplies. The buyers are often manufacturers and the sellers are known as suppliers. Here are some examples of goods and services commonly sold in industrial market. Materials. Ito ay kinabibilangan ng mga hilaw ng mga materyales tulad ng mga bakal, tanso, pilak, kahoy, steel, copper, plastic, and other materials used in the product of goods. Chemical. Ito ay mga chemical na ginagamit sa mga industrial tulad ng chemical sa pagmimina, chemical sa pagpapagawa, chemical sa pagkain, at iba pang mga chemical na ginagamit sa mga proseso ng produksyon. Vehicles. These include industrial vehicles such as trucks, construction equipment, and transportation vehicles used in the operation of industrial companies. Office tools and supplies. These are tools and supplies such as computers, printers, communication equipment, office chairs and desks, and other equipment used in office and company operations. Second is resale markets. Resale markets purchase finished product and retrade them to their customers for the intention of market profit. Resale markets do not change the products they procure. Here are some types of products commonly sold in resale markets. Household items. This includes household goods and such as appliances, furniture, decorations, and other home items that can be resold after use. Clothing and shoes. Pre-loved or second-hand clothing and shoes are also sold in resale markets. Branded clothing and shoes can often be found at lower prices. Electronic gadgets. Pre-loved electronic gadgets such as smartphones, laptops, and other gadgets can also be purchased in resale markets. Antiques and vintage items. Resale markets often have collection of antique and vintage items such as antique household items, jewelry, and other antique collections. Third is government markets. In the majority countries, government organizations are a key buyer of goods and services, especially in the developing country like the Philippines, where the chief instructor projects and productions are government activities. Government markets happens a very vital component. Government markets typically purchase various types of goods and services needed for government activities and projects. Here are some specific examples of goods and services commonly procured in government markets. Constructions and infrastructure. These include materials for building structures, roads, bridges, and other infrastructures. It encompasses items such as cement, steel, wood, construction equipment, and other materials. Transportation. Government markets may purchase vehicles such as patrol cars, ambulances, buses, and other vehicles used for government services. Technology and communication. This includes communication services such as telephone, internet, and other telecommunication services. It also encompasses computers, software, and other technological equipment. Healthcare services. Government markets may procure medications, hospital equipments, healthcare services, and other healthcare-related services required for government services. Education. Government markets may purchase books, school supplies, educational equipment, educational services, and other necessities for government educational institutions. Food and agriculture. This includes for food items, agricultural equipment, fertilizers, and other agricultural services required for government projects related to agricultural and food. And lastly, industrial markets. Industrial markets include schools, hospitals, nursing homes, prisons, and other institutions that must be supplied with goods and services to people in their care. Numerous of these organizations are characterized by low budgets and captured customers. Institutional markets institutions face various challenges, and here are some of the key challenges they encounter. Limited budget. Many institutions such as public schools and hospitals have limited budgets. This limits their ability to purchase the goods and services they need for their operations. High demand. Due to their societal roles, these institutions often have high demand for goods and services to provide care and education to a large number of people. Meeting these demands within a limited budget is a significant challenges. Regulation and compliance. These markets institutions are often subject to strict government regulations and industry standards. Compliance with this regulation can result in additional expenses and complexities in purchasing and using goods and services. Technological changes. Rapid technological advances pose challenges for institutions to stay up to date with the latest equipment and services that can enhance their service delivery, especially when their budget is limited. Service quality. Maintain high quality service despite budget constraints and other challenges is crucial priority for these institutions, especially in hospitals and other healthcare facilities. Safety and security. For institutions such as persons and some hospitals, maintaining safety and security for all individuals within the institution is a major challenge.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. I'm Adeline D. Nelson and akong i-discuss na is all about business buying process. Business buying process, ang mga kumpanya ay nakikibahagi sa pagbili ng mga kalakal at serbisyo para sa kanilang mga operasyon. Ang prosesong ito ay naiiba sa proseso ng pagbili ng mga mamimili dahil sa mga natatanging katangian at hinihingi ng merkado ng negosyo. Problem recognition. Sa unang yugto ng proseso ng pagbili ng negosyo, ang problem recognition na ay nangyayari kapag ang isang tao sa organisasyon ay natukoy ang isang tiyak na pangailangan o problema. Ang pangailangan o problema na ito ay maaring nakilala sa pamamagitan ng mga panloob o panlabas na mga pahiwatig. Ang panloob na mga pahiwatig ay maaring nanggaling sa mga empleyado o kawani ng organisasyon na nagpapahayag ng mga isyu o mga kakulangan sa mga kasalukuyang sistema o proseso. Maaring magkaroon ng mga reklamo, mga hinaing o mga hamon na nais bigyan ng solusyon. Sa kabilang banda, ang panlabas na mga pahiwatig ay maaring nanggagaling sa mga customer, mga supplier, o maging sa mga pagbabago sa merkado. Maaaring magkaroon ng mga pagbabago sa mga pangailangan ng mga consumer o sa mga teknolohiya na maaring makaapekto sa operasyon ng negosyo. Ang problem recognition ay isang mahalagang hakbang sa proseso ng pagbili ng negosyo. Ito ang nagbibigay daan sa organisasyon na matukoy ang isang isyu at mga pangailangan na dapat bigyan ng solusyon. Sa pamamagitan ng problem recognition, maaaring magsimula ang proseso na maghahanap ng mga solusyon at pagbuo ng mga hakbang upang matulutas ang mga ito. Description of general need. Ito ay nagsisimula kapag ang isang malinaw na pangailangan ay nakilala ng organisasyon. Ang kupunan o unit sa proseso ay nagsasangkot ng isang pangkat ng mga mamimili, inhenyero at iba pang mga professional na nagtutulungan upang magkasundo sa gustong produkto. Specification of the product. Ang organisasyon na kasangkot sa proseso ng pagbili ng negosyo ay nag-aayos ng isang komprehensibong listahan ng mga teknikal na detalye ng ginusto ng produkto sa pamamagitan ng pagsusuri sa halaga na isinagawa ng pangkat ng engineering. Research of supplier. Sa yugto ng research of supplier, sinusuri ng organisasyong bumili ang mga potensyal na vendor batay sa iba't ibang salik kabilang ang pagiging epektibo at kalidad ng mga produkto o serbisyo, pagiging maaasahan, katayuan sa merkado, at katatagan ng pananalapi. Ang mga supplier na hindi nakakatugon sa mga pamantayan ng organisasyon o may masamang reputasyon ay maaaring alisin sa pagsasaalang-alang. Halaga para sa organisasyong bumili na mamahagi ng mga branches at advertisement upang maakit ang mga potensyal na supplier. Tinutulungan nito ang mga supplier na malaman ang mga pangailangan ng organisasyon at hinihikayat silang magsumite ng mga panukala o makisali sa karagdagang mga talakayan. Sa solicitation na ay napakahalaga para sa organisasyong bumibili upang mangalap ng komprehensibong impormasyon at suriin ang mga potensyal na supplier. Pinapahayagan nito ang organisasyon na ihambing at tasahin ang mga panukalang natanggap. Isinaalang-alang ang mga salik tulad ng teknikal, pagiging maaasahan at pangkalahatang akma sa mga pangailangan at layunin ng organisasyon. Selection of supplier. Ito ang pangunahing tagapagtustos ng pinili mula sa listahan ng mga posibleng tagapagtustos na nagsumite ng kanilang mga panukala sa organisasyong bumili. Ang pangkat ng pagpili ng organisasyong bumili ay nagtatasa ng mga panukala ng lahat ng mga supplier at naglilista ng mga inaalok na mga sa batayan ng ranggo ng kahalagahan. Ang sumusunod ay alin sa mga pangunahing katangian niya na nagsisilbing batayan para sa pagpili ng mga potensyal na supplier. Order routine specification. Ang mga detalye ng order routine ay inihanda sa hakbang na ito na naglalaman ng order na mayroong panghuling listahan ng mga detalye. Ang napiling supplier, oras ng paghahatid, damit na kinakailangan, presyo at mga serbisyo sa pagkukumpuni at pagpapanatili. Performance review. Ito ang huling yugto ng proseso ng pagbili ng negosyo kung saan ang pagganap ng supplier ay sinusuri ng organisasyong bumibili para sa layuning ito. Nakikipag-ugnayan ang organisasyong bumibili sa mga customer o gumagamit ng biniling produkto at hilingin sa kanila na ibigay ang kanilang karanasan sa paggamit ng produktong iyon. Pangunahin ang pag-uugali ng mamimili o ang antas ng kasiyahan ng mga gumagamit ay nagsisilbing batayan ng kadahilanan sa pagsusuri ng pagganap para sa produktong binili mula sa supplier ng negosyo.
Participants in the business buying process. First, initiators. Sila ang nagtitikang sa proseso sa pagpalit, depende sa uri ng produkto na papaliton. Sila lahat ang nagtatatag ng mga ideya o plano na nagdudulot sa pagpalit ng produkto. Pan-second, influencer. Ang mga influencers man ay maawa naghahatag ng impormasyon na nagtatakda ng mga pamantayan sa paghimong desisyon sa pagpalit. Sila ang mga tao na may impluwensya sa desisyon ng pagbili. Pan-third, users. Ang mga users ay ang mga taong gumagamit ng produkto, depende sa uri ng produkto. At buyers. Sila ang mga tao na responsabling sa pagpalit ng produkto. Panlast, gatekeepers. Paghinsugad nga ni na gatekeepers ay nagkukontrol ng daloy ng impormasyon o nagbibigay o nagpapalabas ng access sa mga membro ng DMO.